Okay, in this video, we are going to be going over classes we've added, two-day event structure, the rulebook changes, improvements in staging, and improvements in scoring. And at the end, we're going to go over this new Dash for Cash idea. So stick around. The new classes we have added, majority of them are hitting on Friday. So it's going to be a half day of racing. We're going to have the riders meeting at like 3 or 4 or something like that. That will come out very soon. It's going to be junior 14 to 17. So this is to kind of get some of those younger kids that don't want to be out there with, you know, the older classes. Or if you're that young, you're probably not going to be as sore. So you should probably run 2 classes. This is the perfect class to pair with one of these younger kids that's running sport light, something like that. You want to shake your sled down on Friday, you know, get loosened up, you know, get ready to peel tear off, stuff like that. So that's your race for Friday, is junior 14 to 17. And then we also added the women's class. This is going to be awesome. There's a lot of girls out there that are fast and they run with the boys. Props to them. But now you could run with the boys and you can run with the girls. You know, you could race women's and then sport light, pro light, whatever you want to run on Saturday. So, yeah, giving the girls some love. There's enough of them out there and your voices have been heard. So I'm excited for this one. So continuing on in the new classes we've added, we have the senior plus 40. So now there will be a plus 30 class and a plus 40 class. Plus 40 will be on Friday night and plus 30 will be on Saturday. There's a lot of these people that grew up on these sleds in the 90s, love them, know a lot about them, and they're in that 40-year-old range, and they don't really want to race a 30-year-old, you know, and I don't blame them. And then we have potentially my favorite addition is the triples class.
I have triples, right? If I don't have triples, then the other stuff's not true.
He has triples.
I'm so excited to hear that class all lined up under the lights Friday night and hear the whole shot and just hear the roar of a bunch of triples going into a corner. I haven't heard that sound in a long time, and I'm really excited. So we're gonna put some special hype behind that one. I want to see that one loaded up, even if they're not breaking the track lap time records or anything, but just to get a bunch of XLTs and Ultras and Mach Zs and Thundercats and all these crazy dudes out there hoping for some triple pipe action. Just anything triples that's 2001 and older. So it should be really cool. I'm excited to see that class and hear that class. And then, yeah, the last class is on Friday is the Dash for Cash. So it'll kind of be a conglomeration of all the classes together. Yeah, we can cover it more at the end of the video. You got to wait for that one. As far as the two-day event goes, I covered it a little bit earlier, but a lot of the thinking is there's some people that want to get a few more laps in, want to run 2 classes, you know, they can't get enough of the Ditchbanger. They wish there was more racing. So this is your chance to kind of space it out and give yourself a night to look over your equipment after you race it one day. There's a couple classes that basically anybody can come and run. Looking to get more racing in, encourage you to sign up for the 2-day. But yeah, like we said, the first day is going to be kind of a half day, starts at like 3 or 4 and goes until 9. And then the next day will be like an 8 to 9 start all the way to 9 o'clock at night. So a full day of racing for Saturday. We have a preliminary schedule. We'll put that linked in the video somewhere down below. But go check that out or go to erxmotorpark.com to see that. But we're super excited to get all this racing in. We're not trying to cut laps. We're just extending the days. So your bodies will thank us on Sunday when you're sore. So for rule changes for 2025, nothing too crazy. We allowed a few more sleds. They are basically anything ZR3, so anything pre-fire cat from an Arctic can run. So the 01 to 03 ZR3 chassis can run, so that means ZR900, unfortunately. I feel bad for that guy's arms, because it's going to be, I've already had one person email me saying they're going to run one. And he's like, oh no, I'm going to go with an 800. I'm like, oh, that's way better. Just a little insider information. This is not a horsepower race. I would say maybe the first lap comes down to horsepower, but after that, you yourself as the rider are the limit. You could probably be on a 340 fan and run the same lap time as you could as your ZR 900. Because you might go down the straightaway really fast, but you're gonna need to recuperate in the corner. When you were on the fan 340, you wouldn't even let off. I promise you this. So all you guys thinking that you need all this horsepower and you got it, that's not the point of this event. You're gonna let it get rough, bumpy, so all those CCs aren't gonna help you anyway. You gotta be able to ride the sled, the whole moto fast before you should probably worry about having over 600 CCs. We're gonna do some more strict tech this year. If you're following the rules, you have nothing to worry about. But I'm just gonna say be familiar with your rule book. It's right on the website. You guys should all have read the whole thing.
You serious?
The new rules that we did for this year are in red. So if you're super familiar with the rule book, you can just go through and look at the red stuff to get updated. There are some different cylinder castings that we're allowing. If you're having a hard time finding jugs for a certain year, Cat or Polaris, there's basically, like in 02, they made the same jug, essentially. Makes it a little easier to replace some of these parts. We've had a couple guys ask for that. It's not a performance enhancing thing. It's not something you gotta go buy these to make your sleds competitive. It's just making it as affordable as it can be. It's not about how much money you put in your sled. That's why all these rules are here. It's so that you can go find an affordable sled for $1,000 or less or something like that and show up and go run it and have fun and not need to do all this crazy stuff. If you know how to adjust a carburetor a little bit, make sure the clutching's cleaned up and dialed in, and you know, you don't have old sagged out shocks. Other than that, you should be competitive. So if you can hang on to it, that's the reason a lot of these rules are here. So another thing we're allowing this year is you can put any skid frame from 2001 and older in any 2001 and older sled. So let's say you have a 98 Indy 600, an Indy chassis. You could put an Edge skid frame in it. If you have newer ones than these in there, you're not gonna be allowed to race. So make sure the ones you're buying are the right skid. If you're not sure, there's tons of people out there. There's a lot of pages on Facebook that you can join, and there's a lot of dudes from these eras that know a ton about these sleds. You can post pictures and say, hey, what is this? And also email us and include some photos. We don't mind helping. And there's no shame in just double checking, making sure you're legal. So another thing is when you're buying these sleds, I have seen many sleds that people list as 01 or 2000 and they're like an 03. So always get the VINs and check the VIN numbers before you buy the sled. I actually have done it before and bought a sled that was newer than 01 and had to sell it because they aren't allowed. So make sure you guys are checking those VINs, and you can go on Google and just type in what's the VIN code, which numbers in the VIN signify the year. It's nothing too crazy to find out, and you just find out which numbers those are, and then every time you look at a VIN, it tells you what year it is. So make sure you guys are following that, because we will be teching that this year. Another rule we're changing, we're allowing headlight deletes, lightweight hoods, stuff like that. Just as some of these NOS hoods become harder to find, sometimes the dudes making Lexan hoods or whatever are cheaper or easier to find. Originally, we weren't going to allow EFI swaps in the mod class, like a modern EFI race sled motor or something like that. There is several of them out there. We're going to score them separately. We are going to allow them to race this year. And then we're going to reevaluate that rule after this season. So if you're thinking about building one of those, make sure you understand the risk that this class might change in the future. Plastic skis are allowed in the leaf spring open class this year. There was some confusion about that last year. It has been allowed in the past, but now it's very clear and simple in the rule book. You can take your leaf spring, you got to run the same leaf spring geometry, but you can put that onto a CNA or a modern stock ski and run your leaf spring on a plastic ski. Another rule book change, this has to do with scoring. We are going to be cracking down on the numbers. We are going to be providing numbers for classes like we did the first year. There is a lot of really bad numbers out there. So as you register, you will pick your number. We will have that number for you printed out. If you can bring proof or email proof that your number is big and vibrant and visible, we will allow you to run your own numbers. But if you send us a picture of duct tape numbers that are like gray duct tape on a black hood, like, you're not going to be able to run those. And if you don't run our number or have an approved number, you will not be scored. So please do this for us. It's a lot of work to score over 500 racers on the track. And if you had to sit up in that building and try to read off all these duct tape numbers or crayon numbers and stuff, it's not fun. So we're going to be covering the cost of these numbers, giving them to you. Please be prepared to have a nice spot to put them. Yeah, we'll go from there. For the numbers, you will get the number decal when you get your transponder, the registration that morning. So be prepared with a little extra time before practice. Don't show up 5 minutes before the driver's meeting and come get your stuff, because you're going to need to go put your number on and get it teched, make sure it sticks, make sure it passes. If your number falls off, you don't get scored. So this is the big deal. We're going to give you a nice piece of vinyl that is cold weather rated and sticks on plastic in the cold, but you also got to make sure you don't have a half a quart of 10W30 on the side of your snowmobile and then try to stick it on there. So please be prepared, be ready, help us out here. We're trying to make this better. All right, staging for this year. Last year it was a pain point. We heard your feedback. I agree with your feedback. We are going to have a new system in place, some screens, and good communication of what class is on track, and access to be able to see directly where you're supposed to be lined up if you forget your pick when you come up there. So we're going to have adequate people there to help you get lined up, staging lanes so that you can kind of see which lane is going to go first and second and third, and get into adequate lanes from there. So excited to kind of unveil that for this year. That'll be a big improvement, something that's needed. And yeah, we're excited to get that going. For scoring, it was another pain point last year. We had a couple classes that didn't get scored right away the correct way, and it took a bunch of work to go back and get it. But to kind of just relieve that, we are bringing in Carl from ISOC and his team to handle the scoring. We are very excited to have them in. They are the best in the business, and that's what they do for the whole national series. So excited to get them in and kind of take the weight off our shoulders and let them just handle the scoring. And yeah, it should benefit the racer. It should bring some legitimacy to the event. And yeah, we're excited. So for Dash for Cash, it will be the classes that are racing on Saturday, the skill level classes, so Sport Light, Sport, Pro Light, and Pro. If you're in those classes, you can sign up for Dash for Cash on Friday, and there will be a heat race for each class potentially with, I'd say up to 20 people from each class in it roughly. Those people will go out and race, and the top however many will get put into the Dash for Cash. So there will be a set number from each class in the Dash for Cash final at the end of the night, the last race of the night on Friday. It's a winner-take-all thing. Like I said, the pros start in the back, and more amateur classes start up front, and it'll be one big race at the end for a big paycheck. Okay, anybody can sign up for Dash for Cash, whether you race plus 40 or 30 or women's or leaf spring, anything. You just have to pick which skill level class you would sign up for. So, like, women can race it. They'll just have to sign up for whatever skill level class they would race on Saturday if they were going to race. And then they also have to take into account their final on Friday would be 1 or 2 races before this Dash for Cash. So the main thing is you pick your skill level class, and then you'll qualify for Dash for Cash based on how you finish out of that. And then everyone in the final will be lined up, and see how she shakes out. Okay guys, that's all I got. We'll see you later. All right guys, that's all we got for you. I hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us, comment on this video, or email us at info@erxmotorpark.com. We're super excited for this event. It's going to be the biggest Ditchbanger we've had yet, and we can't wait to see you. Remember, you've got to pre-register for this event. There is no day of registration, and we're stoked to see you out there.